Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So as you saw from the intro montage, there are now tools moved into both of the rooms. The fab room here, nothing is secured down on the floor yet, like my little grinder stand right there. That one up being concrete anchored, as well as both of the drill presses, and I think that should be about it, but I don't want to do that just yet, as I want to make sure that where everything is located right now is exactly where I want it to be. I want to sit and think about it for a little bit and make any alterations that I need to. But I brought in a shelf so that way I can store fixtures and what have you there. Brought in this workbench that I can store more fixtures, store my mock turbos, some tools, and then have a little bit of a workspace here. And I'll also end up getting a little fixture table to sit in here, probably somewhere in the middle of the room. That way it's centralized around all of the different tools and will give me a spot that I can do some tacking and mock-up and things like that before I move over to the welding room. Now the welding room, it is roughly set up as well. Need to get some sort of shelving to put extra electrodes and my back purge stuff and all of that. And I'm not sure if my cooling fan is going to stay in here or move outside, but at least for the time being, we're roughly set up. And I have banners put up, at least the 3 banners that I had. I have this new, the current BPA logo banner on the wall there. Have this old school BPA banner here that you can see the tuning, service, and installations, not things that I offer any longer, nor is that the schedule any longer, but kind of a nod / homage to days past. And then, of course, Ace Race Parts, my primary supplier for all of my weld elbows, for all of the manifolds and everything. But since I'm in here now, and since I have tools in here, I played around a little bit with a test weld, since it's been a couple of months since I did any serious welding, and this is the first one that I have. So these are 2 Schedule 10 321 stainless elbows. Yeah, you can see right there, so I put my money where my mouth is, but I'm just doing a couple of test welds to make sure that I still know how to weld and make sure that I'm not super rusty. So why don't I sit you guys down, run a couple more beads, and keep practicing and keep knocking some of the rust off. Well, 3 scheduled pipe welds down, and for all intents and purposes, I feel confident enough again that I could weld a manifold right now. So I had 3 of these Schedule 10 321 stainless elbows, and I wasn't going for full penetration or anything like that. It was really just making sure that I still had the rhythm. So this one right here was the last weld, which was a little bit interesting to do it just with the light from the hex light, but looking at the consistency and everything, I think that is a pretty adequate way to do it. So pretty happy with that. And to end today off, I have this 304 stainless tube joint right here that I'm going to weld. So let me go ahead, get the purge started, set you guys down, do another little video clip, and we'll see how this comes out. The tube weld came out exceptionally well also. And for not having done this in, I think, over 2 months at this point in time, I'm very happy with the retainment of my skill set. And I know for some of you it may not be a huge shock. It's just like, oh, well, yeah, you can still do it. But after having been away from something for so long, and even though I've done it for the past decade, there's always that little voice in the back of your head that's like, maybe you don't have it anymore. Maybe you'll have to start from square one again. And while that may be a crazy way to look at it, I'm always concerned that something that I put so much time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears and everything into, that I'll be incapable of doing it moving forward. But I'm not being cocky or arrogant or anything, but I am very happy and I can rest easy this evening knowing that I can still weld and I'm still confident to build parts moving forward. So I'll play around with some titanium and probably some Inconel as well, just as a refresher course for those materials. But for right now, I need to get out of here as I'm battling a little bit of a head and chest cold, and I should probably go home and recuperate a little bit before I come back in and get after it again tomorrow. So we'll do a little bit more welding tomorrow, and then also I need to get this mounted on the wall. This is my Black Friday TV, 55-inch Pioneer. It was the cheapest one they had at Best Buy. And then we have a wall mount from Ye Old Harbor. So this stuff will go on the wall here somewhere. I'll have to figure that out probably tomorrow once I get going on it. But without me droning on anymore, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Excuse me if I sound a little bit nasally. This cold is putting up quite a fight. But that aside, I went ahead and did a little bit of preliminary cleaning and organization, moved the toolboxes over, moved the couch over to kind of the TV lounge area right here, although this is subject to change as time goes on. But the most important part of what I want to show you guys is, if you notice, there is no more pile of wood laying on the ground. And with a huge thank you to my friends Sean and Mike, we went ahead and got the subfloor laid on the second level. So you can see my caulking seam that's still drying going along the, I guess from this vantage point, the horizontal dividing line. But this whole second level now has its floor on it, And this is, I believe, 23 30-seconds thick tongue and groove OSB subfloor. So plenty strong and plenty good for what I'm going to be using it for. Just some storage, and likely all the leftover construction materials will end up here for the time being, unless I decide to take them to the second floor of the shop itself. But this is knocked out now, and it's a huge step forward, as these, when you get to thicker sheets of OSB like that, they're really difficult to contend with as a singleton, and probably actually impossible to get up there, at least with the strength that I possess. So those guys came in clutch, and their assistance was very crucial to knock that portion of the project out. And with that, I think, minus maybe some touch-up paint and stuff like that, we're done with the new room build. So I need, like I said, need to go ahead and get all of the leftover construction materials kind of organized and put in a place that is not right here. So that way this bay will be operational again. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So I feel like crap. I didn't sleep very well last night. So I'm going to go and rest, relax, recuperate, come back in tomorrow, and probably start moving some of those construction materials around. Feeling a bit better today, and today has been spent doing some organization, running the vehicles, so on and so forth. Just some kind of ancillary administrative tasks to get the shop back operational again. So my pile of wood drops and excess materials that was leaning up against the pallet rack over there, that most of it is now up on the top of the structure. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the heater, but got everything stacked and organized and everything else. And there's still a little bit of space, or obviously plenty of space to store additional stuff up here, but we will see what else I store up there as time goes on. And I have my truck in here as I need to do some repairs to it, but I'm not going to get into that today. But to close this video out, I wanted to do an Inconel weld. So I went up in my Inconel box and I grabbed these two little sections out. Their surface is obviously prepped and everything on them already, so they're ready to weld. All that I have to do is start a back purge and get after it.
Well, I got started running test welds and I couldn't help myself. So at this point, I've done test welds on all of the materials that I use normally here, aside from mild steel or chromoly or something along those lines. So I guess since it's right up front and center, let's start with this. And I took out of my titanium bin just these couple of pieces. I believe this is 1.5 inch diameter tubing, and ran a little weld. So now I feel pretty good about being back in my rhythm with tie, and nice and uniform and everything else. So I feel pretty good about that. And similar to the stainless welds that I did earlier in the video, I feel confident to do a titanium project at this point. Moving next to this guy right here, we have an Inconel 625 weld. And this one took a little bit more work to get back in a rhythm. As you can see, if I find the start, right there, the start point, and travels along this direction right here, from here to here, that is. Started off a little bit cold, and the puddle was wandering around a little bit, and then as I progressed around the tube, I got more and more comfortable and ended up in a pretty good spot. So, Inconel wise, I would need to do a few more practice welds first before I would feel comfortable building any parts out of it, but that can be said about that material in and of itself at any point in time. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's puddle dynamics and welding dynamics are a little bit different than all of the other materials that I work with. And it takes a little bit of rhythm setting to feel confident and competent working with it. And last but not least, we have aluminum. So again, just some scrap pieces I had around. And I was very pleased with the way that this aluminum weld came out. So start point there, or initial starting point and termination point, and working way around. All of the tie-in points are pretty good, and my aluminum welding has never been perfect, but for what I'm capable of doing, it came out pretty all right. So I feel confident with aluminum again, and at this point in time, I think I'm ready to start building parts again. So with some test welds out of the way, or practice welds that is, and some organization done, and the shop, for all intents and purposes, ready to begin work again, I think that's going to be about the end of this episode. So excuse my voice, this cold is wearing out its welcome, but hopefully in the next few days I can shake it and get back to feeling normal, make it back to the gym, and all of the stuff I do on a normal day-to-day basis. But before I ramble on forever, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. So thank you guys, as always, for coming along on all these journeys with me, for coming along as I built this structure behind us right here, coming along as built this car and work on this one, and all of the different adventures and all of the different stuff that I think is cool that we've done over the past few years. I'm having a blast doing it, and I love the fact that you guys take time out of your days to come on all of these journeys with me. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys, I love you all, and I look forward to continuing to do this for as long as I can. But with all of that being said, that will be the end of this one. So, as always, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, check out the website for manifolds, for merch, for all things good that way, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.